I'm speaking this morning with Jerry Watson. He's the Chief Legal Officer of AIA. They're the oldest and largest family of bail bond insurance companies, and they've been partnering with agents across the U.S. for over a century. And, Jerry, I'm sure you've got some right here in Las Vegas.
Absolutely. We have a number of agents in Vegas.
Well, thanks for being with us this morning. Tell me a little bit about the bail bond industry. What's some of the misconceptions, and is there a controversy going on?
Okay. The misconceptions are brought about by reason of the fact that the public at large has been given an incorrect picture, if you will, of the bail bonding industry. Now, it's certainly not their fault. It's just that they get their most exposure to the bail bonding industry from Hollywood scriptwriters, crime novelists, reality TV shows, and that's the understanding that they have of what a bail bond woman or a bail bond man is like. Unfortunately, it paints a rather distorted picture of our industry and the people who make it up. The bail bonding industry is an insurance industry. It's an insurance business. The insurance company that underwrites a person who's getting out of jail and guaranteeing his reappearance in court may very well be the same insurance company that's writing the completion bond on some annex being added to the jail. These insurance companies write all kinds of bonds, notary bonds, construction bonds, customs bonds, all kinds of performance bonds. And one of their product lines is guaranteeing that persons who get out of jail pending their trial, who are on a bond of the insurance company, come back to court. About 99% of all the people that are bonded out by the commercial bail bonding industry ultimately stand before the bench and have their case disposed of.
Sounds like a pretty good statistic there.
Well, it has to be. It has to be because remember that, let's say the bail bond that's set by the judge is $10,000 in a given case. The allowable premium on that bond in most states is 10% of the bond. So the insurance company and its agent can charge $1,000 for that $10,000 bond. If the defendant fails to appear, and the insurance company cannot produce him within the allowable time, then the insurance company has to pay the $10,000. Now, that's after all of the agent's overhead is taken out, all of the expense to try and find the absconder, all of the expenses of the insurance company, and all of the premium taxes paid to the state. After all of that comes out, let's say their profit margin, if they're fortunate, is 10% of their gross income. So out of that $10,000 bond, they made $100, but they got to pay $10,000. So they have to get these people back. If we don't get them back, we wouldn't last 2 months, much less 100 years.
So what do you think of the system as it's set up right now? Is this good? Is it good for the taxpayers, pretrial release programs, or the cost of keeping a nonviolent criminal in jail? Which is better?
Well, it's an impossible question to answer because it assumes a fact that's not in existence, frankly. It assumes that the person who is a nonviolent offender and who's in jail and sitting in jail is only in jail over an extended period of time awaiting his trial because he cannot afford a bail bond. And that's a pure fiction. The bail bond sellers today have had to adjust their pricing model to accommodate the needs of the marketplace. And consequently, if you go to the Yellow Pages in Las Vegas or anywhere in Nevada and look under the bail bond section, you're going to see large ads that say zero down or credit bail, because many people today who need a bail bond cannot afford to pay for one up front, and so they have to have terms at no interest over a period of time. So the misconception, the gross misconception is that this is some seedy industry, when as a matter of fact it's a professional industry of insurance agents, the majority of whom are actually women. As to the cost to the taxpayer, not only does the person being released on a bail bond not cost the taxpayer anything, In that 1% of cases where we cannot produce the defendant, we have to pay that money to the court. And many, many millions of dollars are paid every year to the court. I don't know what the number is in Clark County, but I'll bet you it's in the multiple millions of dollars, even for that very small percentage of people that we can't produce, that get paid into the Clark County Treasury as a result of the absconders not being produced. Now, compare that to the pretrial service agency releases, when those people have a very high failure to appear rate, and when they don't come to court, nobody comes after them and nobody pays anything. And the defendant who gets arrested typically has been in the system, and he knows if I can get me one of those kind of bonds, number one, it doesn't cost me anything. Number two, I don't have to go to court. Number three, nobody's coming after me. And number four, nobody ever has to pay anything. Conversely, if he has to get a bond from the commercial private sector insurance bonding industry, he's going to have to pay for the service, number one. People are going to be watching him, getting him to court, number two. Number three, if he doesn't go to court, they're going to come and get him and put him back into custody. And number four, if they don't, then they're going to have to pay the bond amount, but typically they're going to have an indemnity agreement from somebody that defendant would care about, saying, if I have to go pay the court, you're going to have to repay me.
So you've talked a little bit about people who are used to dealing with the system and used to dealing with bail bondsmen. Let's talk for just a minute about those of us who haven't been to jail, or we've gotten that phone call at 3 o'clock in the morning from a friend who's visiting us here in Vegas, and they say, I'm in jail. So what do we do?
Yeah, it's a question I get asked a lot because, whether I'm on an airplane or whenever somebody finds out that I'm hooked up somehow to the bail bonding industry, most of the time they have that question. What would I do if a friend or a relative got in trouble? How would I know where to go? And I tell them to do the same thing I would do if, God forbid, I had a friend or relative who got in jail in Cincinnati, Ohio, for example. I'm going to go to my computer and I'm going to type in ExpertBail.com. It's going to pull up for me a listing and profiles of bail bondsmen, bail bond women in that locale who are the most professional, the highest level of integrity of bail bondsmen in the industry. ExpertBail.com is it's a network. It's the largest network of professional, highly credible insurance bail agents in the country, and they're everywhere. And all you got to do is go put in ExpertBail.com, type in the city where the person is in jail, and it will provide them with good references for how to get somebody out.
We're talking with Jerry Watson, Chief Legal Officer of AIA. They're a bail bond insurance company. Jerry, just to following along that same line of questioning, so someone is arrested, they go before the judge. How does the judge know whether to set bail or how much to set it?
Well, the answer to the question is that every judge understands that the sole purpose of bail is, first, the reappearance of the defendant as directed before the court to have the charges against him disposed of. That's number one. What do we have to do to get the person to court? Now, typically, in a more serious offense, where the person is going to be likely to want to not come to court and to abscond or run away, the court is going to want to set conditions of that release so that there has to be some security put up, probably by a third party who is going to therefore be very financially motivated to make sure that the defendant gets to court. That's what a bail bond is. So if the seriousness of the offense will influence the judge on how much to set the bail. There may be other factors. For example, it may be a rather low-level offense, but he may have been in trouble 2 or 3 or 4 times in the past. And the judge may look at the circumstances and say, you know what, when this guy gets out, if he doesn't have some strong encouragement to come back to my court, he's going to run away. And so, because he knows that this time it's not going to go easy for him. So he's going to be motivated to abscond. So I've got to put somebody in the middle who is going to ensure that this person comes to court. The only qualification on that is the judge is not supposed to set the bail. In fairness to the defendant and the accused, he's not supposed to set the bail in an amount higher than that which would be reasonably calculated to ensure that the defendant will come back to court. On a very serious case, I mean, we write, for example, 3 weeks ago or 4 weeks ago, I approved a $10 million bond. But we write a lot of $500 bonds. We write a lot of traffic bonds. And so it can range from $500 to $10 million in our experience.
Some great information this morning. Jerry Watson, advocate for the commercial bail bond system. You've taught me a lot, and I'm sure our listeners have gotten a lot out of it. Thanks so much for being with us.
You're very welcome. Thank you for having me.